Welcome to Detachment Diaries. This channel is about situationships, emotional patterns, and personal growth. I share stories from my past, not to shame anyone, but to understand myself and learn. If you relate to patterns of attachment, ambiguity, or emotional cycles, you're in the right place. There was one connection that lasted 3 years. 3 years of push and pull, 3 years of almost, 3 years of fighting, breaking up, making up, and never really defining anything. A situationship. For this video, we'll call him Alex, which isn't his real name. We matched in November 2021 on a dating app. I was living in the island. It was during the pandemic. I had just gone through something that hurt my ego. I got ghosted. He pursued me first, then disappeared. I told myself it didn't matter, but it did. Not because I was in love, but because rejection messes with you. It makes you question things. Am I not interesting? Did I do something wrong? Should I have tried harder? Those thoughts don't mean you're weak. They mean you're human. So I went back to dating apps, looking for distraction, looking for connection, looking for something that felt different. Alex wasn't my usual type, at least not at first. But when we matched and talked, the conversation flowed. It felt easy, no pressure, just two people talking. And when we decided to meet at a bar in the island, I remember seeing him for the first time. He was good looking. The kind of good looking that makes you notice. Not movie star perfect, but the attractive in real life. I felt chemistry. I also felt an ego boost because I knew other girls would notice him too. That is the honest truth. I wasn't thinking about relationships. I was thinking about the moment, about fun, about feeling desired, about not being the one who gets rejected. He was on vacation, leaving in 3 days. So those 3 days became intense. We met every night, we talked, we laughed, we hooked up. I chased him a little. I wanted to make sure he remembered me. I wanted to feel like I mattered. And that is also the honest truth. When he left, I stayed in the island, but we kept talking. I convinced him to return, partly because I enjoyed the connection and partly because it felt like a win. Someone I liked wanted to come back. It validated something inside me, and he did return, right around the time a typhoon hit. The island during the typhoon was chaotic, no electricity, no normal routine, just uncertainty. In that chaos, we spent time together, we trauma bonded. That term gets thrown around online, but it describes something real. When people go through intense situations together, emotions attach. It feels like closeness. It feels like understanding, but it doesn't always mean healthy connection. It just means shared intensity. We shared intensity. And after the typhoon, we kept seeing each other. Not as a couple, not with labels, as something undefined. A situationship, a recurring connection, a cycle. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I didn't want a relationship. I told myself it was just physical. That was the story I used to stay comfortable. But humans are emotional. Sex and connection overlap. Expectations creep in. Attachment creeps in. I wanted consistency, a regular presence, someone to see without constantly searching. Dating apps are exhausting, always explaining yourself, always starting over. So I kept seeing Alex. Even though I knew he wasn't boyfriend material, even though I saw red flags, I justified it. I told myself, we're just having fun, no big deal, no expectations. That was the belief. Until the first fight. It happened because of a friend I met in the island. His name was Carl, not his real name. There was no romantic relationship with him. We were friends, but social dynamics can be messy. Alex saw me in his stories, Instagram stories, and he reacted. He accused me of sleeping with him. I denied it because it wasn't true, but the argument wasn't really about my friend. It was about jealousy, and that confused me. Why would he be jealous? We weren't exclusive. We didn't have a label. I knew he talked to other girls. I knew he dated. So why did it matter? He said I should have told him I was flirting so he could flirt with others. And on the surface, it sounded logical, but emotionally, it sent mixed signals. If you don't care, why are you jealous? If we're casual, why does it matter? That was the question in my head. And instead of walking away, which I should have, I apologized. I denied something I didn't do. I prioritized keeping the connection because part of me believed if he reacts like this, maybe he cares. Maybe this means something. That is the trap. Jealousy can feel like proof, but it isn't always. Sometimes it reflects insecurity, sometimes control, sometimes nothing healthy. I didn't see it clearly then, so we continued. The roller coaster, good days, bad days, silence, then reconnection. I would see his stories with other girls. I would feel jealousy. He would bring up other situations. We would argue, then act normal. That cycle repeats. Push and pull. Connection and distance. Hope and disappointment. Situationships thrive on ambiguity. No definition, no security, just enough connection to stay engaged. Not enough stability to feel safe. I started measuring worth by availability. If he replied quickly, I mattered. If he disappeared, I didn't. That is not healthy thinking. But it happened slowly, subconsciously. I also noticed something. When we were in group settings, his attention shifted. He talked to other girls, laughed with them, engaged with them. I felt invisible. Not because I needed constant attention, but because mixed signals hurt. Private closeness that disappears in public creates confusion. Your brain tries to reconcile it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this is normal. Maybe I just need to be cooler. That is emotional bargaining. It keeps you in loops. I didn't understand it fully then. I just felt comfortable. The dynamic wasn't secure. It wasn't clear. It wasn't building towards something defined. It was existing in between. And in between is where situationships live. I kept telling myself, it's fine. I don't need a relationship. It's not that serious. But feelings don't follow logic. You can say you don't care. You can act detached. But emotions exist. And they demand processing. Looking back, I can see the red flags. Days of no replies, mixed signals, jealousy without commitment, emotional hot and cold behavior, disrespect disguised as humor, comparison to other girls, accountability issues. I could list more. But this video isn't about labeling someone. It's about understanding patterns because I contributed to. I stayed. I tolerated. I justified. I dated other people at times, overlaps that complicated everything, not to hurt anyone, but because I was searching for something stable, something reciprocal, something that didn't feel like uncertainty. And eventually, the attachment faded. Not overnight, slowly. Once or twice a year, we would still talk, see each other, but less frequently because my emotional investment decreased. Other experiences taught different lessons. Other connections showed healthier dynamics. I started realizing I didn't want cycles. I wanted security. I didn't want push and pull. I wanted consistency. I didn't want to wonder where I stood. I wanted clarity. The turning point came later, and we will talk about that in future videos because this story is not just about one person. It's about patterns, about learning, about growth, about understanding why we choose what we choose and how we can choose differently. And this is Detachment Diaries. And this is just the beginning.